It's a really neutral word, but I didn't grow up thinking that. I grew up sort of thinking, you know, I could see, you know, you can just see the way people treat people with disabilities. Yeah. And I think I just sort of internalised that and thought, well, I don't want people to know I'm disabled.
Yeah.
So in my teenage years, I started using sort of crutches, and I'd be in like a wheelchair on and off throughout secondary school, which I hated because I think, you know, as a teenager, you just want to fit in and blend in. And then as soon as I kind of got some autonomy in my late teens, early 20s, I was just a bit of a menace and I wouldn't sort of rest. I remember having a toe amputated and coming out of hospital and going straight down the pub because I was like, nah, I'm just going to ignore that, which didn't work out that well. But I just kind of ignored it, felt really sort of ashamed of it. And for the most part, when I wasn't using mobility aids, you wouldn't have known I was disabled unless you sort of knew me intimately. So I just, it was just something I just felt was a real kind of flaw. And it wasn't until sort of my mid-20s when it kind of sort of settled down a bit, but it was still something that I was like, ugh.
And was it because of your own view of it, or was it because of how people reacted when they'd seen you, you know, in the wheelchair as a teenager and stuff? Is that?
I think it was just sort of a bit of both. And I think you can't, you know, if you sort of say disabled to anyone, most people are like, oh, you know, where it's not. Like, disabled is a really neutral word, but I didn't grow up thinking that. I grew up sort of thinking, you know, I could see, you know, you can just see the way people treat people with disabilities. And I think I just sort of internalised that and thought, well, I don't want people to know I'm disabled.
So what made you change? I mentioned about your partner, so just tell us about what happened.
Well, like, Jace, I'm not giving Jace all the credit, but Jace is always like, he's always, you know, he was, I mean, I've been out with some right wrong-uns and he just wasn't. And he was, you know, he never kind of saw my disability as separate to me. It was always, you know, just part of who I am, which it is. And so I think that definitely helped. But our kind of third child has got spina bifida like me. And that changed everything for me because on him, it looked so beautiful. And I was like, all these years I've kept, like, I've got a lump on my back that I was so ashamed of and I kept hidden. But on him, it was like, but this is lovely. And that sort of really kind of got me thinking about how I was viewing it myself. And also I didn't want him to ever sort of hear me talk about my body in a way and then internalise that himself. So that kind of really sort of set me off on a journey of really examining all of this stuff. Like, these aren't my truths about my body. This is just like what society says. And I don't have to kind of agree with that.
I'm just going to bring up some of your social media posts, if that's all right, because I just love what you've done with them. So, you know, tell us about this.
So, like, Jace, people will often, you know, look at us two. They'll make a lot of... Most of the time, I don't think they think he's my partner. Like, if he kisses me in public, you can see people like, is he taking advantage of her? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it seems so alien to them that we would have this very good, fulfilling relationship, which we do. And I think there is this thing that, you know, Jace is classed as the hero, you know. You must have seen on Facebook before, like, kind-hearted student asks disabled person to prom. And it's like, just can't stand it. Because our relationship, obviously he does more of the heavy lifting because my ornamental legs are useless. So, you know, he's hoovering and stuff like that. But then I'm doing, you know, all the admin and I take on all of that.
It works, you're a team.
And you know, as a parent, especially, like, we've got 4 kids, there's a lot of admin that comes with that. So we are, you know, we're very much interdependent, not... And it's, it is balanced, but other people can't get their heads around. They just sort of think, oh, you know.
Let's have a look at another one.
So, I mean, I use this wheelchair full-time now, but when I first was using it, I didn't. And the looks I would get if I dared, like, you know, move my leg a bit, and people would think, you know, you're faking or whatever else. And a lot of wheelchair users are ambulatory wheelchair users. So they use them part-time. You know, a lot of people with chronic illness use wheelchairs because it might be to conserve energy or other reasons. So it was just to kind of show people that, you know, I'm disabled in this wheelchair, but I was also disabled when I didn't use this wheelchair.
And how do you want people to think differently about it all?
About disability? I think just to realise that disabled people are humans and we have, you know, sex lives and social lives and friends, and we can be funny and we can have, you know, we can work, we can have families, and just to realise that we're not actually any different to non-disabled people, but I'm just on wheels.
Amazing. Well, thank you.